Welcome to episode 1 of Simplified Game Reviews. This is a series where I go through real games from one of my students from the Simplified Chess Improvement System and just show them and you what really matters in chess improvement and how they can improve their game. I hope you learn from this how to analyze your games, but also how to spot patterns and weaknesses when you go through your games. Let's dive in. So first, it's super useful to see the message from my student and to compare it then with my review of the games. So here Luis says, Lichess username Staben, we will go there. Hello, Mr. Noel. Luis, if you watch this, you don't have to say Mr. Noel to me, I'm just Noel. If you have time, please look at my latest 10 games. Although they might not be as recent due to my limited free time for chess, I believe my overarching problem remains the same. This will be very interesting. Always very interesting to see what a student thinks their problem is and what I then come up with. Finding tactical opportunities 2 to 3 moves deep from a specific position. Okay, that's very specific. I often find myself playing too cautiously, making moves that I think do not blunder, yet are also strategic, only to discover that I have missed a tactical opportunity. It kind of irks me too. I don't know that word irks, but probably it's something like annoys, as I do my best to train tactics every day with full focus and yet I still miss them. Do I need a better tactical study plan outside of routinely solving puzzles and hoping their solutions stick in my brain? I often find myself wishing that I had a strong enough photographic memory so that I would actually remember all the positions I encounter during my tactics training and the best sequence of moves to solve them. So one quick note here is the last part, the photographic memory. That's not how tactics works. So in chess, when we train a position, so mostly with tactics, right? But also when we solve any position, what we're trying to do is not to remember what the right solution is, but we try to improve our way of thinking, improve our calculation skills, improve our problem solving skills, so that then in the game, we can use those same skills in a different situation. So you don't need to remember what you did or the exact solution for a puzzle, but you just need to get better at solving puzzles in general, which will help you solve difficult positions during the game. So it's not about remembering the right solution. It's about training a muscle, training a skill that you can use in a different position. Okay, let's go to Staben or Luis' profile that is called Staben and see what's going on there. And here we can see the profile. So this is Staben. We can see the overview. Let's click to all. Okay, that's a little bit too much. So what I usually do is just check the profile and see that they had a long inactivity period, right, until April. And then we can see the last 6 months, actually very nice improvement, 1480. We can see here 1162. So in 6 months, won 300 points. So that's already great, Luis. That's very, very nice. We can see Rapid played 243 games. That's quite a lot of games. So very nice. Classical played 93 games, and we can see nearly no blitz, nearly no bullet, nearly no correspondence. So what I like with this profile, first thing when I see it, is that as I explain in the Simplified Chess Improvement System, you want to have a serious profile where you try to play focused chess. And then for all the blitz and the random chess, you play when you're not that focused, you want to have another profile. And this profile here really screams focused chess, which I like a lot. So when I go through the games, all of them will be played with focus and we can really derive something from them. And it's not just, oh, I blundered my queen because I wasn't thinking straight, right? So this is important. You can see the puzzles. Okay, very little puzzle storm, puzzle streak, very interesting. So I like the profile. I really like the profile and the graph is also very good. So what remains is looking through some of the games. So let's check those out. And I need to... Okay, so this is game number 1 that we see 3 days ago, 15 plus 10. Let's go through it together. So what I usually do, so you guys can switch on the engine if you want to. I generally go through it just seeing if I spot anything obvious immediately. So here we see knight f6, not ideal. Yes, opening wise e6 is better. You can see that there is the analysis even. So probably did the quick analysis on Lichess and knows that now. So knight f6, b3. As you can see in my blunder video, this is not a blunder. This is just a missed opportunity. So this is still fine, totally fine for their level. Bishop moves back, okay, takes on d4, takes on d4, we trade, everything fine so far, knight in. So basically also if you see here the difference of the engine moves, that can be super useful because you see when something chops. So if you want to get a overview of games, you can't spend 20 minutes on every single game. But what I do is spending like 1-2 minutes on maybe 10 games and trying to put everything together and say, okay, there is a pattern that we should work on. So here, okay, I still like this a lot. This is a very, very calm and decent game so far. E5, B6, okay, totally fine. Not my preferred move, E4, but this is all fine. You can see here, okay, the opponent basically gives a pawn for free. So that's great. Queen d2. Now we play g6. That makes sense. Okay, we're up 2 pawns now. And now we are taking on a2. It's not very obvious to me why taking on a2 is so bad. So this is important, right? If I as a grandmaster can't see why this is bad, well, the engine sees it, but it's not really obvious. And if we switch it on, h6. Okay, so for example, this is a moment where if you think here, oh, queen takes a2, I'm so bad at tactics. It's like, no, you're not so bad at tactics. The engine is just way too good, right? So let's see what happens. Takes, rook d8. Okay, we take, king g7, queen takes b6. Now you see, now we're again totally winning. Apparently queen d4 was the way to fight. But again, I still don't see anything wrong with Staben's games or Louis' game. King h2, and we get to this moment where we go from totally winning, see the time, 1 minute 18, to queen f1, and this is a draw. And this is just perpetual chess, I assume. And queen f1 is a little bit a careless move, played very quickly, because we need to always look out for the king. So that would be the first thing that I would note myself, is like, okay, in the queen endgame was a little bit careless. What I like most, guys, here is putting the queen in the center, queen e5 check, let's say g3, and then pushing a5. Now you basically control everything, right? You don't need to win if you have endgames up pawns. You don't need to win immediately. You just need to make sure that everything is protected and then, you know, improve your position steadily. So that would be my solution. Queen e5 jack and a5. Instead, Louis goes here, and there's now the king is too weak and there's checks all the way. So the queen here was misplaced and we see a draw. Okay, let's move on. Okay, try to even go through that one even quicker. We're again playing black. Okay, Caro-Kann. Okay, this is interesting. Rook e8, bishop e6. Very normal development moves. So far, again, we have to remember this is 1490 level. So totally okay. h5 is interesting. I'm not sure if h5 is really the way to go, but still there is a thought process to it, stopping the counterplay. So I don't mind putting all the pieces in the center. Really like that. Bishop f5, okay. Bishop g4, maybe could play knight out, but okay. Bishop g4, don't think there's anything wrong with that either. We can switch on the engine if we're not sure. Okay, looks very normal. f7 is hanging, rook e7, okay. Bishop e6 is a very logical move, actually, even though you see that there are different ideas. Bishop e6, very logical move. So don't mind bishop e6 too much. Oh, okay. So this is maybe one of the nuances that one could find. Pushing b5 first. If the bishop is moving away, we now have a tactic here. Takes, 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 and takes, right? So this is kinda deep, but this might be one of the things where Louis mentioned that he's missing these tactical opportunities. But this is not very easy to see, but it's a nice one. Playing b5, then taking h2, then taking e3. The difference is if we take this immediately, right? If we take here, that would be a huge mistake because now the queen is protecting d2. So missed opportunity, but still a logical move. So bishop e6, okay. We play knight c5. Queen is moving away, knight e4, okay. We could take here, but bishop f5, g4, okay. Knight takes f2. Now this is a little bit fancy, but it seems to work still. Okay. We take on h2. Oh, this is a huge mistake. So this is one of the things where we need to see. Okay, we have 5 minutes and we sacrifice the knight. So I didn't like this one. So I would say this is overcomplicating things. Whenever you have an easy solution, h takes g4, we just take the pawn. What's the problem, right? Let's keep it simple. You don't want to overcomplicate it. So this sacrifice I'm already not a fan of. Bishop takes, and now bishop takes h2, I would argue is really a blunder. Because bishop takes h2, well, if the rook takes, yes, that can work. Probably this was the idea, and checkmate. But we need to look at our opponent's ideas, and this is just white as a piece up, right? So this is a huge tactical error, and I would argue this is not 2 moves, 3 moves down the line. This is just probably just missing that this bishop was hanging g takes f5, because once we see g takes f5, it's totally lost. So this, I would say, easy tactical error costing the full game. Okay, so here we don't have any chances anymore. Easy tactical error. Okay, let's move on. Next game right here. Okay, now we're playing white. Queen f6 is very adventurous. Okay, trying to play c3, d4. Okay, I like that. It's great so far. Queen g6, what's going on? Is d5 not a move? Okay, d5. Okay, knight h4. Yeah, I like that. By the way, guys, this is a very, very nice motive. Knight on h4 defending against this attack on g2. You will see that quite often because it attacks the queen. It protects the g2 pawn. And even if the knight is then later on hanging, we can then take the bishop. So queen takes here. Okay. We take on c6. When it's tactical, I like to switch on the engine shortly. Okay, d takes c6. Perfect. B takes. And rook e1. I like that. Takes on c6. Takes on a8. Great game. Very, very nice game. I'm just clicking. Ooh, what happened here? So this again is a huge tactical mistake. Okay, and again, it's very simple. So we play rook e4. Opponent takes on e4. There's nothing more to that than this, right? So this is just a very, very, very simple oversight. We are up what are we up? A full rook? We are up a full rook. The king is in the center, so we're totally winning, right? And we're just giving away a full rook. So this is, I don't know, concentration, whatever this is the moment that we need to dive into, right? It's obvious from a chess sense, but if we see a pattern, okay, we already saw 2 moments now. Rook e4, super, 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 super big mistake that we want to avoid. We can take here h3. Well, take maybe not. Yeah, take knight g4 is a little bit problematic. But knight out, bishop out. There is not even a threat. h3, probably g3. There are so many good moves, right? Just don't give up your rook. But then g3 and somehow still winning the game because the opponent blunders. Okay, now we're up 2 pieces actually. I think, yes, 2 pieces and we win the game. Okay, let's move on. Another game. So we're playing white again. Okay. So one thing that is good in these game analysis, game reviews, when there is not obvious that you have a huge opening problem, you have no opening problem. Okay, so I didn't even mention that, I just realized it. But if it's not like, oh my God, we have such a catastrophic opening position, then that just means, okay, openings are not a problem. So far, openings not a problem at all. Just saying that because many of you think that openings are their problems. So we push d4, very nice so far. Okay, knight takes, I prefer c takes. You want to keep the center, but this again is a nuance. Okay, actually, interestingly enough, his move was better than mine. Okay, knight takes, knight f5. Okay, knight c4. I like that so far. Takes, d5. No d5. Okay, so once black, this is again a little chess thing. Once you have this structure, okay, if white can focus or control the d5 square nicely with the pawn on e4 or not, then white usually has a nice game. If black can push d5, they should absolutely do it, and then black has a good game. So here, after d5, you see that the knight is pushed back. We have to play something like knight e3. This bishop is not really going out. So this is a nice position for black. Instead, once queen c7, now bishop g5 would be very nice, trading off this knight, gaining control over d5, or knight e3, knight d5. Okay, bishop e3, not the move I like. Bishop e3, I don't like at all. Takes away the knight square. This is a little bit positional problematic. Okay, so here we need to know this position, especially if we play this opening, we will get it more often. Bishop g5, trade off the bishop for this knight, bring the knight, bring it to d5. That will be something strategical. So we can improve something strategical. Bishop e3, b5. Okay, b5 is probably not the right way to do it. Knight e2. Okay, I'll switch on the engine. Knight e4, takes. Now we get control over d5. This is nice, okay. And we give up. So this game is actually very interesting. So this game specifically, Luis, if you're watching this, really remember this point that playing d5 is the whole plan for black, stopping d5 is the whole plan for white. So nearly all of your mistakes were around allowing d5. Nearly all of black's mistakes were not playing d5. So here, bishop d5 or queen b3, something that you see all the top engine moves are all about still keeping control over the d5 square. So we get d5. Okay, now it's a problematic position. Okay. We are still fighting. You see that black is not really playing it perfectly, so we get back and tactical opportunity. Okay, so basically when you play through a game like that and you have the engine open, it's basically always when you see that jump, it must be something concrete. It's 95% of the cases, there's something concrete. So you need to look out for this concrete nature, especially if only one move is good and the rest not. So here, bishop takes e4. Boom. That's a very simple tactical thing. Yeah, f4 is a mistake. So again, tactics. So we had strategy, but also easy tactics. Okay, now this is again very problematic. We are losing a pawn on f5. And this is interesting. So still again, so guys, you see, strategy is not as important. We made a strategical mistake like 3 times. Opponent didn't do d5. Then we allowed d5. Opponent played d5. We got a bad position. We got back from that bad position, had a tactical opportunity to basically win the pawn, win the game. We didn't do it. We got a very bad position. Again, opponent didn't play perfectly. We lost the pawn, but we won it back. So still, this is okay. So you just see how important tactics are compared to strategical mistakes. Okay, we take here. Okay, king h2, fine. And now how do we lose that? And our opponent blunders a queen. Okay, let's go to the next one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is a quick one again. Bishop f5, so Caro-Kann. Okay, we play in simple setup, c5, knight c6. I like this. Okay, queen a4. Interesting. Okay. Let's just check again what our silicon friend is saying, but this is totally fine. Bishop takes e7, definitely not the move you want to do. And we take on b2, we take on a1. Okay, this is a very, just watch until the end to see if there's anything going wrong. No, this is just a very, very simple game and winning. So this is very nice. Let's go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if there is a better, oh, I could just watch it. Okay, let's go on. So e4, knight f3, d3. So seems like this is the main idea or the main repertoire that we're handling with. Not the one I would suggest, but totally fine if this is your repertoire at the moment. Knight bd2, okay, I assume d5. Again, guys, everything is about d5. You want to play d5 with black. With white, you need to be prepared for d5 happening. c3, b5, okay, d4, c4. So d5 seems sophisticated. Don't really see why that should be so good. Takes, takes, takes. Yeah, this is too sophisticated computer stuff, so I'm not going too deep into it. e5 looks very logical. Knight is coming to e4, maybe bishop g5. This diagonal is opened. All good so far. Okay, knight g4 should go to d5, really. This d5 square is way better. Okay, better to keep the bishop or to play knight e4, but queen e2 is fine. Queen takes, okay. Probably taking at knight e4. So this is interesting. So in this opening, we've seen that, you know, Louis still makes some mistakes that are not terrible, but are not ideal. So it might be the case to say, okay, I need to study a little bit of middle game ideas in this opening, specifically this one. Okay, takes here, and we win an exchange. Very nice. Rook b1, okay, takes, takes, exchange up. Okay. Well, guys, rook b7, queen b7, it's over. Another super simple tactical opportunity. And now setting up, that's actually beautiful. Now setting up this, and knight f6. Boom. And just going back, I want to see rook b7 nearly instantly. Okay, nearly instantly. So this is something focused, thought process, something along those lines. Let's do two more, and then I give you the overarching picture of what I'm seeing here. Okay, so here, let's do two more. Okay. Okay, castle. Again, very easy. Okay, a3, bishop takes a6. This is actually proper theory. People are doing that with black. But yeah, just definitely not something on 1400 level that we need to play better than what we're playing right now. 14 minutes 46. Very quick, very good. Okay, takes, yeah, looks good. Knight d5. Okay, knight d5. This screamed at me. Queen d2. Okay, so this is missed tactical opportunity. So we had a lot of very easy tactics, and this is now missed tactical opportunity. Knight d5, the whole point is queen takes, we have this nice fork, and otherwise, well, if the queen moves, then it's a huge success, so we don't lose that pawn, or if the knight takes, we take here, and we have a protected passed pawn on c6. Note that losing the b2 pawn is really nothing compared to having this super strong central chain of pawns. So we play something like rook b1, bishop d4, rook e1, and just put a lot of pressure on our opponent. So you can see the computer is super happy with that position. Okay, so queen d2, this is missed tactical opportunity. And now we're just hanging a pawn. You see that the difference in engine is not too big, but when I just see students give away material, that usually is also a red flag for me. So it's like, why would you, right? Either maybe you're overcomplicating the game. Why should you sacrifice if you don't have to? Or second, you just missed something very simple. So missed this attack on e4. Okay. Queen d5, I don't fully understand. Okay. Takes, okay, and our opponent again gives away material. So it's very strong. How you see here on this level, if you can't read it, if it's too small, 1434 against 1384, there's so much tactical, one move tactical mistakes. That's basically what always decided the games. Okay, takes, bishop d4. Okay. We're an exchange up. Let's see if there's any problem going forward. Rook is coming in. Okay. King f6. Rook d5. And another piece is hanging. Black resigns. Okay. So this one, we had the two moments, the chance with knight d5, and then somehow missing just a pawn hanging. Last one. Okay. This is one more that we lost. It's usually better to see the lost games because we can take more about weaknesses from these games. Okay, switching on the engine. this is the Jobava London, where c5 is a little bit tricky. I would probably play e6, bishop d6, or you have this idea here. You play knight a6 and you protect this pawn. Once you move c5, this idea gets kind of more annoying because you never have this c6 move to kick out the knight. So now we play knight a6, and you can see that this knight is here forever, basically. We can't push it back anymore. That's one of the ideas. That's a little bit opening. Okay, usually you just watch through it, or what's a better way to play it? Boom, you have that. Don't need to go too deep. Okay. But we're getting out again. Well, again, so important to stress. You don't play the opening perfectly, but you see what your opponent does out of it. You know, they are not a title player that they just crush you once you don't play the opening perfectly. No, it's just a normal game. Okay, there's no a4. a4 is very important. You want to keep that knight. That knight on a3 is horrible. Now if we play b5, for example, that knight is totally out of the game. Okay, knight c7, knight e6, knight e4. Okay, b5. Now maybe a5, b4 would have been the idea. So now a6, yes. Okay. And now we have b takes a4. Okay, this is interesting. So this again goes a little bit in the strategy department. Well, yes, strategy, tactics, it's a mix of the two. Why not b takes a4? Okay, so in these positions where you have pawn chains, and I think this is a similar reason for the mistake as a mistake we saw previously. It's basically thinking, if I take, my opponent needs to take back. Okay, kind of this automatic way of thinking. B takes a4, b takes a4. No. My opponent can take here. Now, why is this so good for white? Well, you can argue that it's concrete as well, because now white took back the pawn and will just get the pawn on a4 for free, will be a pawn up. That's the real why this move is bad on a4. It would also not be great if we would keep these pawns but have doubled pawns, right? But it's very concrete. There is no way for us to not lose a pawn in this position. So for example, if we take here, either white can just take a4 and then c4, or take c4 immediately, threaten this fork even, and then just pick up a4, be a pawn up. So this is kind of automatic play. If I take on a4, my opponent needs to take back. Nope, that's not true. Look at your opponent's resources. Okay, let's see if there is a chance. Oh, there is, again, we get our chances. Knight takes here, rook is hanging. That's why the queen cannot take. Okay. And c4. It's not really a fork. The queen is pinned at least. Again, this is not what I would have expected. Why do we give up a piece? And why is white not taking it? I have two questions here because I don't really see what's going on here. We have 7 minutes also left. I mean, yes, we are, objectively speaking lost, but why not move the queen away? There is no problem yet. So knight e3 takes here, takes c2. Rook takes a6, knight takes d4. Now suddenly we're coming back again. It's just incredible how many chances you get. b6, okay. Takes, rook b8. Now we want to stop this somehow. Okay, knight c4, bishop d4. Okay. Now this is not an easy endgame because this pawn is very annoying on b6. But let's see how we lose this. Okay. Oh. Okay, king f7. Again, there's one move. Why is this move bad? b7 is a tactical shot. And now if we take, knight d6 check. So we walked into a fork. This is kind of a more advanced way. And you see, opponent is not seeing it. So king to e6. Okay, takes. You always need to keep the bishop here. So takes with the bishop is a mistake for sure. Takes, okay. King c4. And now the computer is saying that we need to go here. That's not easy already. So there was a mixture of things. King d6, and now we are losing this endgame. Okay. So in this position, this is a little bit harder to see what exactly went wrong, right? We have this endgame. Let's go here. That is a little bit annoying. And now it's combined understanding of this endgame plus some concrete factors. So f6, e5, and now I don't see why we shouldn't take this one, but we miss this b7 shot, and then we take on e5 with the bishop that allows white to go into a rook endgame that is very annoying to defend. So here f takes e5 would have been my preferred choice. Should still be a draw, but not as easy. After looking at these 8 games, I feel like I have a good understanding of what you need to do, Luis, to improve your chess even more, right? The graph is very nice at the moment, but what you need to do. And to shortly recap, I've opened all the games. Game number 1, we can see the main mistake was this queen f1 move. You should have just centralized your queen or pushed a5. The main thing, don't allow your opponent to get this diagonal and check your king. And what is to note here also is that this move, queen f1, you played extremely quickly. So be careful with that. So that's a concrete mistake, one move. Second game was a little bit more complex. You had one tactical opportunity in this moment to play b5. That was a long kind of tactical opportunity, not something I think you have to see. But then later on, it got much more clear. In this position right here, your opponent plays g4. You should have just taken it, keep it simple. And then this bishop takes h2. It's just a one-move tactical blunder. After you lose your bishop on f5, you basically are just totally lost. So again, the most important mistake was a one-move mistake. Right here, we continue with the same thing. Rook to e4. The rook is just gone. Right? There's nothing more to talk about here. Next one, this was a little bit more strategical. So from here on, it was all about controlling the square d5. So for example, knight e3 becomes an idea, but always just look out for stopping d5, and black should play d5. So the next moves were all about this. Then once your opponent finally played d5, you are much worse, but you play a decent game until you have this moment right here. Your opponent plays knight to e5. What's your chance here? There is a pin. You can simply take e4 for free. So again, tactical opportunity in one move. These are 4 games in a row. Next one, this was just a great game, so I have nothing to say about this one. Then we have here, again, this is the most egregious blunder that you did in these games. Rook to b7, just hanging a full rook immediately. That is, could have been very costly. Again, look at your time spent, okay? You are a full exchange up. It's 11:22, so you will lose 2 seconds. You have 10 seconds increment, 12 seconds, but you just miss a, well, very obvious attack from the queen on the rook. That's, again, a one-move tactical mistake. I would say this is definitely a blunder. We continue here. This is what you were talking about, which is a tactical opportunity. I think knight d5, you can call that tactical opportunity. This was a very nice move. You can spot this one. You can spot this one for sure. Let's see the time. Okay, you've also spent quite some time. So knight d5 was a missed chance, but then the next move was just, well, forgetting about this pawn hanging on e4. So you just gave away a pawn. So these 2 moves were not precise, not as strong, like one move mistake as the other ones, but still kind of obvious idea from your opponent that you missed. And then last but not least, we have this position right here where you took on a4. And my interpretation of this is you took because you thought, well, the pawn just has to take back on a4. So here, after seeing that white can take on c4, I think we realize that a4 is very, very weak. We will just lose a pawn. So again, that is, yes, it is a little bit strategical, but it's also very concrete and just losing a pawn. So in those 8 games, in 6 of them, you made clear one move mistakes or clear tactical, concrete oversights. And that's just all you should work on right now. And more than trying to do a lot of tactics, I would really work on your in-game play. So whenever you play, try to focus well and understand where these mistakes are coming from. So this is missing in this analysis. The analysis would be much more powerful if you had a study And you would write down every single time you see that you make one move mistake, write down what happened. I wasn't focused. I just didn't see something. I wasn't doing a right thought process, right? If you're inside a simplified chess improvement system, well, I know you are, you go to the thought process module, to the play simple module, and you work on this. How do you think during the game so that these mistakes don't happen anymore? And I would say for everybody at home, probably the same applies. If you're below, let's say 1600 online, most of your mistakes will be simple 1 to 2 moves, tactical, straightforward things. So when they happen, ask yourself, what is going on that they happen, right? It's not only about doing more tactics at home, but it's also understanding, okay, if I have the skills, I'm able to see the things in tactics training. Why is it not why am I not seeing them in the game? And then work on these things, work on focus or whatever it is that holds you back, and you will continue to improve your game. I hope you enjoyed this simplified game review. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of that. And if you want to have the chance to get your games reviewed like that, make sure to check out the Simplified Chess Improvement System. Link will be below the video. See ya.